Welcome, fellow YouTube travelers. I'm Baronen, and I'm on a mission to learn art. For this video, I've done an art study on legs, to start to acquire that skill and also level up some of my fundamental skills like construction and shading. Through this video, I've been following my own study plan, which I discussed in a previous video that you can watch up here. So sit back, relax, and get ready to learn a little bit. The first step is to get a reference. I need reference of at least 10 legs, one of which should be a drawing where someone else has done the construction, so that I get a cheat sheet on what to look for in the other references. The second step is to draw the construction of at least 10 legs. I did 15 in this example because I wanted to redraw the first 5 because it didn't really click for me in the beginning. But the focus here is to learn what shapes and volumes make up the leg and how they look from different angles. And I will show you a little bit more of what I was thinking about in some of the cases. So here's the first one. This one is basically just a copy that I can use as a roadmap, so we can look more at the muscles in the next ones. Okay, so here we are with the second one, and now we can start to talk a little bit about the muscles. So on this reference, we're looking at the outside of the leg. This means that we can see the vastus lateralis right here, and also a bit of the hamstrings down here. Then we also have the kneecap, and then for the shin, we don't really have a lot on the front, but we can see the gastroc belly right here, and then we can also see a small indication of an tibialis anterior right here. And for the proportions, here's the major trochanter. From the major trochanter to the knee should be about the same distance as from the knee to the malleole. And that's it. On to the next one. Here we are with the third one. This is the leg of the great Ronnie Coleman. And here we obviously have a lot of muscles to look at. So let's go through them. First, we have the adductors right here. Then we can also see the sartorius muscle, like this. And up here is tensor fascia lata. Then we have rectus femoris right here. And a huge vastus medialis right here, which looks a little bit like a droplet. And then on the outside of the leg, we have vastus lateralis, which is the biggest of the quadriceps. Going down the leg, we also have an indication of the kneecap right here, which then goes down to insert at the tuberositas tibia down here. Then we see a lot of the inside of the shin right here, so this is mainly bone. Then behind it, we have the medial gastroc belly right here. And this would be the soleus and some other small muscles. Then on the outside, we have the tibialis anterior. But for this reference, this is basically just smooth all the way. Okay, on to the next one. Okay, so here we are with the fourth one. This one is a little bit from the outside and also the back of the leg. And here we can see an indication of the IT band, which makes this valley right here on the thigh. And this would be the vastus lateralis. Probably some of this is also vastus lateralis, but there's no real distinction here on the reference. And then the rest of this would be the hamstrings. There's no clear separation here, but that's where they are. Going down the leg, we also have the kneecap here, which then goes in a little bit to the shin. And then we can see both of the gastric bellies. We can't really see the separation here, but there they are. And below that, we have the soleus muscle like a sheet. And since we're on the outside, we also see some of the fibularis muscles and a little bit of the tibialis anterior. And that's it. On to the next one. Here we are with the fifth one, and here we can see a little bit of the same muscles as we did on the Ronnie Coleman one, but we're more on the inside, so we also see some other things. Like on Ronnie Coleman, we have the adductors right here that also go up right here. Then we have the sartorius muscle, which goes from up here down to the knee. Now we can also see the rectus femoris and the vastus medialis. This one is not as big as Ronnie Coleman's, but you can see the drop shape right here. Then on this one, we can also see a little bit of the hamstrings that go right here. Then we have the kneecap, and this is a typical curve for the shin. So from the kneecap, it goes in a little bit, then it goes out a little bit, and then it goes in a little bit again. It's very subtle, but if you want to make something more stylized, you can exaggerate this. And here we have the gastric muscle. This is the medial one because we're looking at the inside of the leg. And below it, we have a really clear soleus muscle here. Then the rest of this would just be the inside of the tibia. And here again with the proportions from about the trochanter to the knee, the same distance as from the knee to the malleole. And on to the next one. Here we are with the eighth one. We have already shown the inside and the outside of the leg and the front, so I wanted to show you a little bit more of the back side of the leg. So here we can see the hamstrings right here. All of this would be the hamstrings and probably some of this as well. And then here we have the adductors. Going down the leg, we then come down to the gastric bellies. So here we can see that there are two. This would be the lateral one because it's on the outside, and this is the medial one. So they sort of form a heart shape, upside down heart shape, and then below them, like a sheet, like this, is the soleus muscle. So all of this would be the soleus. And they both come down together to form the Achilles tendon. That's it. On to the next one. The third step is to shade on top of the constructions following the reference. And for this step, I have also added color. So I try to recreate the colors from the reference without using the eyedropper tool. And I will show you some of my thoughts on some of the cases. So here we are with the third one, back with Ronnie Coleman's leg. This one obviously doesn't have any color, so I did it in black and white. And the focus for this one is to get the transitions right. So looking at the harder and the softer transitions. So here on the outside leg, we have a really soft transition. And for example, here below the vastus medialis, we have a harder transition. And then we also have some bounce light right here on the bottom of vastus medialis right here. And then we also try to capture the shininess of the leg. So it's a little bit shiny right here. And that means that the highlights are gonna be smaller and more defined. So that's what I've tried to capture right here. Okay, on to the next one. Okay, so here we are with the fourth one. This is the one where I started to compare my colors to the reference. These are the colors that I chose, and this is the colors from the reference. So I got pretty close, a little bit too saturated all around, but pretty close. And what we can see on this one is that we have the light source coming from the top right, and then we have some bounce light on the back of the leg, so back of the thigh, and also a little bit here on the back of the knee. Then there also bounces up some light from the floor up onto the calf right here, and also down here more on the shin, and also a little bit on the knee. But yeah, that's it for this one. On to the next one. Okay, so here we are with the fifth one. This one has a lot more cooler colors than last one. And these are the colors that I picked, and these are from the reference. So came pretty close, a little bit too desaturated, I think, on my colors. But here's something I think is pretty interesting, that there's more red around the knees, so it becomes pink. We can see it both on the knee, you can also see it a little bit on the top of the thigh here, and also on the inside of the thigh here, that we get a little bit more blood in these areas, which makes the skin a bit redder and gives it a pinkish hue. And that is something that I've been looking for in my references and try to recreate it. Okay, on to the next one. Okay, so here we have number 8. These are the colors that I picked, and these are the colors from the reference. So pretty close up until we get to the highlights. I was a little bit too... this highlight was a little bit too dark. This one wasn't dark enough, but pretty close overall. This was a really difficult one, I think, because the leg almost blends into the background in some spots. So it's a little bit difficult to know where there should be a shadow and where shouldn't be any leg anymore. But it was also fun because it's a really shiny leg. So we have a small and very defined highlights right here. And then we also have some secondary lights. So we have a rim light here on the left side and also a little bit on the right side. And yeah, that's it for this one. Here we are with the 9th one. I think this is the closest I came to getting the colors right. The mid-tone is almost perfect. So these are the colors that I picked and these are from the reference. So the shadow wasn't really red enough. And this first, the dark mid-tone could also be a little bit redder, I think. But then it was really close, I think. This one has a little bit of fun lighting. It's a little bit shiny, so we have a lot of highlights right here. And it's very directional lights. So everything is coming from the right here. Which gives us this nice line down the middle. And we can also see that there's a nice curve here in the tibia going out from the middle of the body. And yeah, that's it. The 4th and final step is to draw and shade at least 2 legs from imagination. This is to test the ability I have learned in the previous steps, and to see if I can recreate it without reference. Here we are with the final pieces, final illustrations of legs. This first one, I wanted to create something where we saw the outside of the leg, where someone was taking a step. It's not perfect. The vastus lateralis right here looks a little bit weird. And the perspective becomes a little bit weird because I tried to do it from a little bit of an angle and I didn't really do that all over. So yeah, everything looks a little bit weird because everything is not in the same angle really. But now I've learned that and I won't do the same mistake again, probably. Hopefully. But I think that the skin looks quite nice. It's not perfect, but the goal is not to make something perfect, it's to learn. And here, the second one, I'm much more happy with. I think it looks a lot better. It's more dynamic and the lighting makes it look more interesting. So now we're more on the inside of the leg. So we also see some of the backside of the leg. So we have the hamstrings right here. And because I put the light source from almost from behind right here, we get some light under here, which makes for a bit more interesting image than this one. But yeah, I learned a lot from this, and it was a lot of fun. Now I'm a bit tired of legs, but that's natural, I think. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you also learned something from it. And if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps out a lot. This is by far the longest video I made so far, so if you watch all the way to the end, thank you a lot. If you want to, you can leave a comment to tell me what you want to see me study next. Okay, I think that's it. See you in the next one.